Welcome to the SHA Podcast, presented by Direct West.
Welcome back to another episode of the SHA Podcast, presented by Direct West. I'm your host, Jake Murray, and today, joining us from the World Junior Championships in Edmonton, Alberta, is Saskatchewan-born official Adam Bloski. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Jake.
So starting things off for our listeners, take us through the process of being selected as an official for the World Junior Championship.
The World Juniors, I guess the selection started just right before the end of October. I got a phone call from Hockey Canada, kind of explained the situation that they're going to use all Canadian officials. They asked if I'd be interested. They said take a couple of days and think about it with your family. Right there and then, I said I'm available to go. My family is obviously very understanding of where I want to get to in my officiating career, and this is a dream of mine that's come true.
Awesome. So we know for the players, it's a big moment when Hockey Canada gives them the news of being selected to Team Canada and all the excitement that happens at the hotel rooms and things like that. But from an official standpoint, what's that day like for you? Just take us through what that call or what that message is like.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Like I said, it's a dream come true. It's a moment that lots of people are very happy for you. It's just tons of phone calls along the way. Tons of support throughout the whole process of getting to this point. It's not something that happens just overnight to get to the World Juniors. It takes time to get here. It's a lot of sacrifice and stuff. Just within the game of hockey too, where you know what, you do miss out on some stuff throughout the year of birthdays and family and friends events. But those are the sacrifices I've made, and they're starting to pay off now.
Excellent. So Mike Lanigan, Tarrington Wyonzik, along with yourself, make up the three Saskatchewan officials at the tournament. What's it like having those two around? Does it provide a little bit of support during that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the time we've been here, it's long. We've been here since the 13th. That's when we were strictly in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
First 5 days, so we spent lots of FaceTiming and stuff, playing some games online where we could still interact with each other. So leaning on each other and in those aspects was huge for sure, and even just if someone needs to talk, just to be there for them. So just leaning on each other as much as we can, communicating as much as we can, just because there are times too where we do feel a little lonely as well.
For sure. So this tournament and this year is the most unique circumstances. How do you prepare for the tournament, and what's it like trying to focus leading up to the departure for Edmonton?
Yeah, the preparation was very unique, definitely compared to tournaments in the past, where you're already kind of in mid-season form, where you know you're getting in the groove of things. And with a tournament like this, we had to kind of dive in head first, where it was pretty much like once we got the call, I talked to Brad Howard from the SHL, who's the referee in chief, and just by any chance, if I could get a couple more games, knowing that I was going, he was very, very understanding with that, and appreciate him for doing that. So I did get a couple games before going, just to kind of get back in the routine of things more than anything. But then the SJ got shut down a couple weeks prior to leaving, so there was a little bit of a stall there. But just trying to find ice, went to the outdoor rink with Mike a couple times, and just worked on skating and just tried to do as much as we can for preparation as much as we did as possible.
Excellent. Now I got to ask, what is life like in the bubble for officials? Are you meeting regularly? Do you have calls scheduled? Do you have leisure activities? What kind of stuff do you do, or are you locked down pretty much in the hotel room for the whole time?
The first 5 days, so 13th, 18th, we were locked up completely. We weren't allowed to leave our room. So that was all right. But during that time, we actually had lots of meetings and stuff to do. So it actually did make our day kind of pass by. We were also doing group fitness just over Microsoft Teams as well. So they would have some guys come and run a quick half-an-hour session just to get us moving, so we're not laying around all day. And then once we got on the 18th, we started skating. We had a nice session, just kind of get back on our feet, do lots of edge work and stuff. But we still had some restrictions where we were only allowed to have 10 people in our common area at a time. That actually didn't get lifted till Christmas Eve was our first team meal together.
Mm-hmm.
So now things are starting to loosen up, that's for sure. But we're all allowed to be together now, which is it's very important for us. So like I said, we can lean on one another, just socialize, have some fun, not think about hockey the whole time, and we're playing some video games, some golf, some cards. So there's lots of stuff to do. So it's been really, really good.
Awesome. Good to hear. Now, sometimes fans can be a distraction or an encouragement for players and officials. Have you noticed not having any spectators in the building?
I would say at the start of the game more than anything. Once the puck drops, I would say hockey's hockey, and you don't really notice that stuff. You zone out, any out. Can't worry about the background noise, what people are saying, anyways. So once the game's being played, I wouldn't say it's any different. Just weird being in an empty arena.
For sure. So in 2019-20 season, you officiated American Hockey League and Western Hockey League, but with those leagues not playing as of yet, you've been officiating the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. What has that been like for you, and does that caliber or even style compare? How does that compare to the World Juniors?
Yeah, the SJHL is a great league, that's for sure. It's great for development. It's just another step, I guess. The players here are the best in the world, so the caliber is definitely increased, that's for sure. The speed of the game here is probably some of the fastest hockey I've ever seen. So just anticipating the play, making sure you're not getting out of position, I would say, is the biggest thing.
For sure. Now, your first game of the tournament was also Canada's opener. Were the nerves high being home for the home game with all eyes on you watching?
Yeah, there's definitely lots of emotions going through, like the first ever Canada game with Canadian officials, so that was kind of cool to be a part of as well. But there's just so much going on, and you just kind of throw those distractions away once the game started. Just with still really appreciate all the text messages and stuff I received for support and stuff, but there's a time too where you just got to put that away and worry about the hockey game and just go out there and do your job. The game itself, it was very cool to be a part of that. Never been a part of working a Canadian hockey game before like that, so that was very neat. I know lots of views from home. I received a lot of text messages after, so that was cool.
For sure. Now, Team Canada won that game handedly, 16-2. From your experience, what are some past experiences or lessons that you've learned to keep things in check to ensure that a game is manageable, even when it's got a lopsided score like that?
Yeah, the management is definitely the biggest thing too. It's I'm not sure if we get too far into detail here, but the biggest thing is making sure you're protecting all players, making sure the players feel safe, and making sure the penalties are really being deserved at that point of the game. The last thing you want to do in a 16-2 hockey game is squeeze it really tight. There's already frustration on one side, and that's the last thing you want to do is bring more frustration towards it.
For sure. So your first game wasn't without a bit of controversy. I wanted to talk to you about two moments in particular. The first was the Braden Shen hit to the head penalty that led to an ejection in the first period. Did you happen to notice that that was Schneider before the play happened, or was it more of a read and react type of play for the officials?
It's a reaction thing. Our job out there is to react to foul that happens on the ice. We're not there looking at the player is hit like that, and it's unfortunate. I know not really meant to do it, but sometimes you get the best of a guy just playing on the edge. So it's tough to comment much further on that, but you definitely don't think about who the player is at the moment in time. Our job out there is just to react and do our job and make sure the game's safe.
Absolutely. So secondly, and you probably know I'm going to ask this, the goal late in the second period with what looked like no time left on the clock. Now, IIHF has issued a press release making everyone aware that the officials' clock and the TV clock were not in sync. Did you know this prior to the game, or did you hear about this after the game from friends and family?
We didn't hear about it till after the game. The video that we had in the booth there was 0.2 seconds remaining when the puck had crossed the line. So we don't know any different. That's what we're going off of. We're not pulling something left field where it's saying, all right, we're going to allow this goal. We're going strictly off the time we see. So, but we didn't find out till our officiating coach came down. And it's not on us to, I guess, not our fault in that sense too, where we're just doing our job. We're going off the time we see. So it's good to at least hear that we didn't really do anything different about it. We went with our gut. We went with the time we see on the ice. So that's what we have to go with.
For sure. So last question. We noticed that at the center ice official at each game has their own tagline to open up the game. When we see your face at center, do you have your tagline ready?
I had one ready the other night that got a little more attention than I thought it would. It was the pitter patter. So that one sort of fits.
Oh, I didn't know the pitter patter was yours. So I know that went over big. So that was an awesome one.
We're having fun with it. We're human too. We like to have fun. We take our job very seriously once the puck drops, but we're not robots. We're human. We enjoy the game. We like to have fun out there and do the best job we can.
For sure. Well, I know you have a busy schedule with games coming up, so thanks for taking some time to talk to our listeners here about what's going on inside the bubble at the World Junior Championship right now.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Drake.
That was another episode of the SHA Podcast presented by Direct West.
This has been an SHA Podcast presented by Direct West.